Right, welcome back to the fourth of this flies that we tied at our demonstration on Thursday. This particular pattern was a suggestion from Keith, and it's a daddy hopper type fly with a muddler head, so we're calling it the daddy muddler. And the hook is the same size as we tied for the muddler minnow, which is the it's a barbless golden nugget or easy eye nugget special, which is basically a hook for gold heads, but it's a 2x long body, which was sort of what I was looking for. No, it's 2x and 3x, but it's slightly longer than the standard shank. So I'm just using a light coloured thread here. Again, it's a UTC rather, ATO. This is a tan colour. I just put a little bit of super glue to hold everything in place, or thread anyway, and then foundation down to the start of the bend. And this has got a butt of mylar, so I think this is pearl mylar, uni pearl mylar, like number 12, which is 3/64 apparently. So catch that in. That's right. Thread around the bend. And then catch the mylar in, and then bring the thread back, and then again a little bit of super glue just to hold that mylar in place, and then we're binding it and wrapping it half over itself just to give it a bit of density, and then just bring it back to the start of the bend where we've tied off. And trim away the waste, and then we've got a length of, this is a soft wire, gold soft wire. I'm calling it small. The reason it's soft wire is that we're going to be half ribbing the dubbing before we put in a hackle, which is only palmed down approximately 2/3 of the shank. So we've got a dubbed body, and I'm using this hairline. It's Hare's Ear Plus. It's dark hare's ear, but it's just got a little bit of glint in it. So just picking the dubbing out, and then dub it on. This hasn't been separated out very well. There's big clumps in it. Right, just trap a few fibres and then we can tighten it up. Don't want it too tight on this, just to create a body. We double it down. About 2/3 of the shank. Just one more turn. I can remove that, and then we'll be tying in again hackle. Which is that. Drop the feather on the floor. This is quite a long saddle feather, but we only need 3 or 4 turns of it, but I don't want to have the fibres too long. So tie that in, head position, bring thread forward. You could always wax your thread just to be on the safe side, but because the stalks on this are particularly fine, I can just double them back and lock them in that way. Just remove the waste, and then what I'm going to be doing is winding the rib over the first part of the fly, and then being soft while it will hold in position. Just get that out of the way, and then going to be winding a palmed hackle, so a couple of turns there, and then palmering it down to the ribbing, and then when that gets locked off, and we continue the ribbing up through the hackle where we tie it off, and then keep hold of the thread, and then you should be able to just worry the gold off, and then just remove the waste of that hackle stalk, and there we have the body. Just encourage those fibres back a bit. And then we're going to put in some knotted pheasant tail fibre legs. So this is a pattern I found on YouTube, which is, I think Martin White originated this one, and he said put in 4 or 5 legs because they do go long and they have a tendency to break off. So I'm taking 4 legs, well it was 4, and 1 left on the stalk, and there's no legs on that one, so start again. So I've got 4 legs, which we're going to tie in either side, and to extend almost the length of the shank. So putting those legs one side, and then four legs on the other side. Shuffle those up this side. You can bring those forward just to tidy everything up, lock it in place. And then I'll bring the thread back. And then, if you wanted lots of movement, we'll put in a couple of hackle points to create an illusion of a wing, and I'm just using a sort of a mottled ginger, and these hackle points are the ones that you wouldn't use for anything else because they're too short. So we'll just place one for that side, and then one for that side, bind them in nice and tight. And again, what I said with the Muddler Millo is make sure that the foundation for the deer hair is as smooth as you can get it. So I'll just build up a bit of a taper on it. It doesn't matter if it's tapered, but as long as it's smooth. And then, as with the Muddler Minnow, we can tie a little ruff first. So we take a clump of about 5mm in diameter, cut the bunch off, and then remove all of the fluffy under fur, because if you don't do that, then it stops it from stacking properly, and more importantly stops it from spinning properly. I'll just place that bunch in, tips first, into the stacker. Tap down to push all those tips together so you've got them all lined up. Just gently take them out, just make sure there's no odd fibres there. So about half the length of the body, hold that in position. And it's 1 soft, 2 soft, and on the third up, spin. And then 2 or 3 turns forward, and then using the end of a dubbing needle, or in this case a threader, just helping to compact those and push those fibres together. And then 2 or 3 turns in front, and then we can do similar tying, perhaps not quite as big a bunch. This time don't need to stack it, but you do need to remember to remove the underfur. So in this case, again, it's same again, but don't break your thread. So we offer those up, and then 1, 2 soft wraps, and then the third one pull and splay, and then finally compact it so that we can get the thread in there and exposing the eye. A little bit of varnish on the thread. And then whip finish without catching too many deer hair fibres. Pull it tight and then trim. And then the messy bit. Just go around and cut the worst of it off. And then we need to take all of the coarse fibres off without cutting through too many of the collar hackle, but making sure you don't cut your wings or your legs off. Like that one. Sometimes easier to take this out of the vise and trim it. So you have to be patient with this, because all your hard work of tying in all those materials could be undone with a snip of the scissor. You see, the more you do, the better you get at this, and then you can introduce a little bit of shape to the head. So that seems to be okay, and there we have it. That's the Daddy Muddler. On to the next pattern, which I think what we tied in the evening was a flotation shrimp, which again was a suggestion from Keith for the fish that are sipping the suspended or swimming shrimp that are near the surface. So that will be on the next video.